Well, hey, welcome to another episode of the Highlands podcast. We are so glad that you're here. This season, we've been doing something a little bit different. We've been inviting friends of our church to share what God's been doing in their unique ministries. And I'm telling you today, we're in for a treat. It's one of my favorite organizations, Teen Challenge, and we are welcomed by Eric Tijerina, who's a director of operations here at the Antelope Valley Teen Challenge. We are so thrilled that you're here. Thanks for taking the time and for being with us today.
Of course, my pleasure.
Man, we are I love Teen Challenge, and we're gonna get to the mission and all those things and of what they do, because our church has been a big supporter of you and the Antelope Valley Teen Challenge, and we love what God's been doing. But I want to start with you. And maybe, our people have seen you in videos or even here with us in person, but maybe they don't know your story. So we love hearing stories here at the Highlands and of what God's doing and the redemptive value of what he brings to our lives. And so I want to ask you just a little bit about your story.
I grew up in a small community, Tehachapi. It's right around the corner there in the mountains. In the 80s.
With all the seasons.
Yes, in the 80s, and very close-knit. Good family, Catholic.
Okay.
There every Sunday, every holiday.
Yeah.
And my parents divorced.
Okay.
And when that happened, our household was very regimented, and my dad was, cut and dry. There was no interpretation for it.
Yeah.
But when
seems like all of our parents were in the 80s.
And when they divorced, he was so broken and, just kind of isolated a little bit.
Okay.
So the discipline was let up.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to feel about everything. And I went to a dance, and a couple of the buddies were like, hey, let's have a beer, So I said, all right.
Yeah.
And the minute I started drinking it,
okay,
I just felt this change. I thought I was the greatest ever. I didn't have problems. I wasn't worried about where my mom is. I wasn't worried about what girls think. I wasn't worried about anything. And
how old were you?
I was 14.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was my go-to, and
Yeah.
I could be this person. I fill myself up with this stuff, and
Sure.
I feel great, and
Yeah.
that just carried on to everything, every major achievement, every life event. Even in my dream, like, hey, I'm gonna have this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, and it's gonna be fully stocked bar too. It always had to be included in that.
Sure.
And it got to the point where all I wanted to do was stay drunk.
Wow.
And I didn't want to hear from any problems. I didn't want to have any responsibility. I started isolating, and all I wanted to do was, drink.
Right.
And I was working for the state. This is fast. I have a whole 50-year story.
Sure,
but
sure.
the most recent,
Yeah.
I was a corrections officer.
Okay.
And, a broken person going into a broken society, because that's what it is. It's a really bad environment in prison.
Right.
Just made me worse,
Yeah.
And then I started doing drugs. And,
Okay.
then I had to have both, one or the other. And it got to a point where I just abandoned everything. My job had drug tested me, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I get all proud. How dare you?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I just went on the run, I abandoned everything. Parents, siblings, kids, everything. Just, I was gone for about 2 years. Yeah. They put me as a missing person, and
Wow.
I was just completely broken.
Wow.
And then when you get to that spot, it's like, I'm so ashamed. Who do I ask for help? I mean,
sure.
I used to have an image of this,
Yeah.
and now I'm here, and who's going to want to help me? You know what I mean? How embarrassing.
Sure.
So it took a lot, and I just said, you know what? I looked at the environment I was in, and this is up in Northern California. It's house to house, couch to couch,
Right.
And once your resources is gone, nobody wants to be your buddy no more. So, so after my account was dry, and
Sure. It's like the prodigal son.
I didn't have any cash or anything like that. They were just like, you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
And it started getting rough, and I went online, and I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I could put an email or something, and Facebook was, I had no, I mean, I knew about it, but I didn't really, you know, so I went online and I said, you know, I'm going to check out, you know, my hometown.
Okay.
So I went to attachbnews.com and my grandmother had died.
Wow.
And seeing that and knowing I'd missed it 2 weeks ago, all the stuff had happened and then they had the funeral and everything. It just, it devastated me because she was our second mom. I mean, we all grew up with her. So I said, you know what? I need to make a change. And I was like, you know, we went to church a lot. So let's see, you know.
Yeah.
And my prayer was, I know I'm not worthy, but if you just give me a chance, you know.
Right. Sure.
If you give me a chance, I know I can build on it and I'll get better and better and better. Just help me because I'm afraid.
Right.
So I went back home to Tehachapi and my mother was like, hey, we heard great things about this, you know, teen challenge, you know.
Right.
And I was like, what is that? You know, I'm like 38 years old.
I know. I'm not a teenager.
I'm not going to go in there. Are you crazy?
Sure.
And I thought, no, you know, and pride wanted to creep up. And my dad was like, what do you have to lose? Look at you. Like,
wow.
You know, let's be real here.
Yeah.
What are your options?
Wow.
You know? So I went and I was very hesitant. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Because who am I sober? Where do I go from here?
Wow.
What trade do I have? What skill, you know? And wrestled with it. And as soon as I got there, they said, hey, Eric, put all that on the back burner. Let's just work on your spiritual self.
That's good.
The outside world will be there, dude. Just let's get you connected to God.
That's good.
So I fell on my knees. It was at a spiritual emphasis.
Okay.
And I said, God, I'm ready. Let's just do this. I let go. I just let go of everything. And I started to serve and I started to be involved in our Bible classes and wanted more. So I became an apprentice. That's a 4-month, kind of like a shadowing of staff. Yeah. And then I went to the Bible college. Okay. And started working there at the Bible college for about a year. Okay. And then I transferred to Riverside. Yeah. And I was a teacher there for about 5.5 years. Okay. Yeah, first phase. So the minute I said, Lord, come into my heart, help me. You know, I'm afraid. Yeah. I don't want to have a guard up anymore. Right. I just want to surrender. I just want to have some kind of life, you know. Yeah, that's good. Even at that age. Right. And he came through big time. Wow, I love that. I do a men's Bible study, and we've been going through 2 Timothy, and there's a verse there that Paul talks about just even things that have happened to him. Yeah. But there's this phrase that I just love, because when we hear people's stories, it's not about the sordid details or about all of the past. The phrase that he writes is that, and the Lord rescued them all. Yeah. And I love that, because your story, I've shared my story. We have hosts of stories in our church, but the main thread is always the Lord rescued them all. Yeah. And even for you, just, you know, brokenness, just all kinds of things going on in your life. But the focus isn't on that. It's the focus that the Lord rescued you. So how many years ago was that when you went to Teen Challenge for the first time? That was about 10 years 10 years ago? Yeah. Okay. And that's just amazing what God has done to just turn your life around and, you know, remarried. Like there's just a whole thing that God has... Remarried with kids. And, I recently went to a funeral last weekend. Okay. And people were like, wow. Yeah. Who is this guy? This like, Eric that we knew? you know, all my high school buddies and stuff are there. They're just like, man. It's amazing. I love that. You know, and the thing was, they were like, we wanted to help, but didn't know how. Right. Right. You know? So I hear that a lot with, you know, Teen Challenge. You know, is that just for teenagers? And, you know, is that I'm 38 and I'm struggling, but I can't do that. Yeah. So there might be, you know, and we've shared Teen Challenge within our church, but there might still be people who are like, man, what is that? Like, so just share with us like what Teen Challenge is, like maybe a little bit of the mission and kind of even the misnomer that it's not just for teenagers. Oh, no, it's not just for teenagers. It's for 18 and up. Okay. It is a 1-year free program. Okay. You don't have to go through your insurance or anything like that. And it's a couple phases. Your initial phase.
This is for somebody you said, like somebody I need drastic change.
Yes, we need help because this is not a luxury program. This is somewhere you go. You're really
and it's not like I could do this on the side or after work. It's like no, I'm giving everything up. I'm going. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it's a year long, faith based. I mean, 100% Christ.
Yes.
I mean that is one of the ways I can describe it is for myself is it's a life school.
Okay.
So you go to relearn how to live.
That's good.
Because you have all these tendencies. Yeah. You have all these judgments.
Yeah.
And with God, you don't need that. You just care, worry about you, love on people.
Yeah.
So it's a year-long program.
Okay.
Broken in 2 parts. One is for induction, we call it. So it's about 3 months, 4 months.
Okay.
And there's different centers in Reedley, Bakersfield, San Diego, Orange County.
Okay.
Riverside and our outreach. So
and soon to be up here.
And soon to be up here, we're hoping. Yes.
We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But okay.
So we're as soon as they graduate, they all go to Riverside.
Okay.
So all those induction centers, they all meet up in Riverside, and you finish out the year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
And part of that is to get you ready, because when you get to Riverside, I mean, it's like I don't want to say intense, but it is 100%. I mean, if you're lacking in faith or you don't want a Bible reading, you're going to be, you're going to stand out. You don't.
So the headquarters of Teen Challenge is in Riverside, and when did Teen Challenge when was it established?
It was, I believe, it was 1963.
Okay,
yeah.
So 60 years ago or so. So and I love the current director, Pastor Ron Brown.
Oh yeah,
he's amazing, and he's been with us before. But what would you say? Because we're going to come back to Teen Challenge, the ministry, in a moment, the organization. But I want to go back to a little bit of your story of, and I've shared mine too. Like we know broken people, and then we're broken ourselves.
Right.
But that's not a bad thing. God uses those who have a broken and contrite spirit. So what would be some dangerous signs that we can look for, whether in ourselves or maybe in those that we love? Like you mentioned, you just kind of gave up and you were in a broken place and broken workplace, whatever. Right. So what were some dangerous signs that maybe you noticed or that we can help notice in our loved ones?
One of the main things is, I think, isolation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
You don't want to talk to anybody. You don't want,
that's good.
You don't want to hear it. You don't want advice. You don't. You just kind of abandon that whole structure of fellowship.
Okay.
And we all know that when you're isolated and you're alone, you start thinking.
Right.
And then you start imagining this and that and this person.
Yeah.
And then you add a little bit of alcohol or drug to it.
Right.
It intensifies it, makes it this big old huge deal. And it's not,
Right. That's true.
And then you start acting on those impulses.
Okay.
Which are unreal.
Yeah.
They're imagined.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
Isolation. So, man, that's a good word because, I'm a pastor. And so as you see people maybe slipping into that pattern, you always wonder, like, are they okay? And so try to make a habit of reaching out to them, because you're right. When you start moving in isolation, you don't want the accountability. You don't want people to know what's going on. And you try to hide and kind of mask that. And so I think for those watching, maybe you yourself, maybe not living in isolation, but maybe even, like you said, having a loved one, just starting to kind of drift away a little bit, ever so slightly, I think is a dangerous sign. I think that's good. Why do you think some people, and you've been pretty open with your story, so thank you very much for that honesty, that transparency, vulnerability, but why do you think some people don't accept that they're broken and don't accept the help? Because I can imagine in your line of work, working with those who really need help desperately, I imagine there's people that just walk away like, oh, that's not for me. I'm okay, or I'm good. Why do you think that happens?
Pride.
Okay.
I mean, it's all pride. You don't want to surrender. You're your boss. You want to. I can make decisions.
Okay. I can get over myself.
Yeah. I can do this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why don't you?
Yeah. And why haven't you?
I mean, come on.
Okay. That's good.
It's just like with me, I was afraid and I thought this program's not going to be for me.
Sure.
I'm used to making money.
Right.
And, X, Y, and Z. And so pride is something that all of us, no matter who you are, needs to just really think, you know what? it's not all about me.
Yeah.
The world doesn't revolve around me.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I need to put my faith in Christ and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I mean, trials are going to come, things are going to happen.
Right.
But God is there forever. I mean,
why do you think people think they can break these chains themselves?
It's what they see.
Okay.
Self-help books.
Yeah, sure.
You know, TV, little.
They're gonna be the exception.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it called? Motivational speakers.
Okay.
The power's within you.
Yeah,
You can do it.
Sure,
and sure. 5 easy steps for you to, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, we're in a culture, especially nowadays with young adults, where, you know, be an army of one, you got this. And, you know, you're going to change the world. It's about you, you know. And,
true.
It's just not so.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, among many, that Teen Challenge does well is they kind of break that stigma of, you know, it's okay that you're broken. It's okay that you need help. Like we all need help. We all need Jesus, because I love that's the focal point of the mission, and not just the mission, but the practice of Teen Challenge. But I think that too, another important part is that Teen Challenge helps people understand, like, hey, we want to help you, but you need it. You have to want it yourself.
Right.
So, you know, you have a very rigorous program at Teen Challenge where, you know, I think there's curfews and chores, and there's learning, like you mentioned, you're teaching, you're in classrooms, like it's very intense, rigorous.
It is very scheduled.
Yeah, very scheduled.
And if, like with me or anyone else, as soon as they come in and see that, they get scared off. I can't do all that. Look at that. We wake up at 6 and we go to bed at 10.
Right.
But
what was your experience like when you first went back? You know, you went to Teen Challenge. Your dad's like, it can't get any lower. Like, let's figure this out. What was your initial thoughts or experience when you went back, or when you went into Teen Challenge?
When I went in, it was different.
Okay.
Because of all the freedom.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking, you know, like I said before, I was Catholic.
Right.
So when we had worship time, I was like, what the heck? They have a full band.
Yeah. Where's the organ?
Is this really church? Like, I don't know, man, because they loved it. And the freedom in it. And I was thinking, they must get something extra for being so happy, like pretending, like they're faking.
They get extra brownie for dessert.
A dessert or something. I don't know. But it really was a shock.
Okay.
And then I realized, you know what? All of us here, no matter if we're a hardened gang member, to me, a corrections officer, we're all together in one accord, just wanting to get help.
Yeah, that's good.
You got to let your guard down.
Yeah. That was, you know, I was privileged to speak at the Teen Challenge conference earlier this year, and that was one of the things that struck me. I took my 14-year-old daughter with me, and you know, I think I shared it when I spoke, but she called it the conference we went to Camp for Old People, because in her mind, everyone's old because she's 14. Like I'm ancient. But what she even in her 14-year-old mind saw was that there was I think it was about 500 people there, men and women who were just hungry for Jesus.
Yes, sir.
They would rush the stage for worship, and they were just, like you said, that excitement, that freedom that was really, I mean, it was refreshing to me. Yeah. And I came to kind of encourage them, but I think they encouraged me more than I did them, because it was just this love for Jesus that, you know, 6 months before, a year before, I don't know that it would have been present in their life. But I just love what you said. That there's really, you know, what's interesting is when you think about following Jesus, sometimes people who don't follow Jesus think it's very restrictive. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this.
Yeah.
But actually what you said is beautiful, because it's when you follow Jesus, actually you find true freedom because you're allowing him to take over. You're allowing him to lead you, and you're not having to make these decisions or break these chains on your own. I love that. I want to go back to, let's say we have someone that we love, someone in our families, a child, a spouse, someone in our circle that's struggling. You know, you can't force people to follow Jesus or to find help, but what would be a thing that you can, practically speaking, you can help encourage us to share with them?
Well, they could call our office.
Okay.
But if it's just something that's happening, you know, and you don't know what to do, just listen.
Okay.
I mean, meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
And let them see the reality.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's good.
Look at your environment.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Is this what you would want?
Yeah.
You know? In high school, were you thinking, man, I want to, you know, be living on the street.
Yeah.
Not have a car.
Right.
Just reason with them.
Yeah.
And call us.
Okay.
Our number for our offices is area code 661-888-4249. And we'll go. We'll go to them.
Okay.
I mean, this number routes to our cell phones. So
wow.
We'll always pick up.
Yeah.
Someone will be there to help.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So you mentioned the phone number. You mentioned a way to connect people, but just so we can help people maybe understand some expectations. So we call the number. Maybe it's someone who has a burden for their family member or friend, whatever, or maybe it's the person that, hey, I need help. And so now they interact with you. What happens from that?
We have them come in for an interview.
Okay.
We talk with them to make sure it's going to be a good fit.
Okay.
Sometimes they have to take psychiatric medication that we can't allow because we don't have medical staff.
I gotcha.
Anything could happen. And then, we don't want someone to get hurt.
Right.
And then we let them know a little bit about the program.
Okay.
And if they're still a little iffy, hey, come to our Monday nights.
Oh, okay.
Come to our class. My partner, Joseph, he does a great class, a living free curriculum.
Oh, okay.
And it's very involved and it's real. It's like real things. You can bring your parents in and, you guys could talk and be, because codependence is just as bad. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's good.
But they come in and they see, this is what it's about.
Okay.
I mean, the hardest thing for TC is, for me, was the work calls.
Okay.
Meaning the grounds are beautiful and stuff. And they're like, no, well, you got to do something. You're going to do something, And that's just like everyday work.
Right.
You can't just go to work. Well, there's not really a lot to do, so I'm not going to do nothing.
Right. Yeah, true. Right. That's true.
But everything else is great because of the classes, going to church, going to serve at different events. I mean, it's great. It's beautiful.
So someone is going to Teen Challenge. They are, what would it may be for family members and friends. What's like a week to week? Is it classes, work? Like, I know you just mentioned the schedule. What kind of classes? Spiritual? Is there some life? You mentioned it's kind of life schools, or is there some skill-based learning there?
Towards the end, you start learning all the like resumes and things like that.
Okay, gotcha.
But it is 100% salvation.
Okay. Because that's the answer.
Yeah, getting a little bit deeper. Sometimes as you grow in seniority, you start learning a little bit about Old Testament. But right off the bat, like I taught the class Alive in Christ. Okay. And it's all the doctrinal truths.
Yeah.
So, the faith all the way to election.
Sure.
So it is a lot of class. I believe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays class.
Okay.
There's rec time.
Okay.
There's times to go, watch football.
Sure.
Play tennis.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a sight, seeing two hardcore gangsters playing tennis.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe pickleball soon. I don't know. So
basketball courts, everything. I mean, it's beautiful.
And I know Teen Challenge also does outreaches. What does that look like?
Our outreach, what we do here is we go to Grace Resources. We help serve the homeless. We are a part of CareNet.
That's good.
We go to different churches and give a presentation of what we do and how we do it.
Right.
We just recently had a 5K run.
Oh, yeah.
And that was great.
Okay.
So many people showed up.
That's good.
And it's so encouraging knowing that, wow, I don't know half the people here, but that's phenomenal.
You're all the same.
That's
mission.
right.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Yeah, that's we're very, very. Now we're starting to get into the schools.
Okay.
And this is a new thing with us.
Okay.
So that we can do prevention.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're starting to do that. It's called New Life Prevention.
I love that.
We go to high schools and stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
So what's next for the Antelope Valley Teen Challenge? I know we kind of mentioned some things coming up as far as projects, working with the city, but what does that look like?
Well, right now we're still in negotiation.
Because the goal is to bring a home.
Our vision,
a center.
Our goal is to have a center here for men and women.
Okay.
It'll be the first time it's been done, year-long program. So we'll be an actual headquarters.
Okay. Because right now those classes are in Riverside and other Bakersfield, I think, other places, but not here.
Not here.
Okay.
Yeah. So if someone comes in, they are a good fit.
Yeah.
We do the interview and everything. We'll personally take them to Bakersfield, or we'll take them to Orange County or San Diego, what have you. We are right now looking for properties and in negotiations with city and private donors.
Okay.
And that's what we really are looking for.
Okay.
Is people to say, you know what, get enough information about us.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's do this. Let's you know, there's properties, and we're looking for someone just to jump in and help.
Gotcha.
You know? Because city led is great.
Yeah.
But we really want community behind us.
Sure. You know? I understand. Yeah. Okay. So how can the Highlands specifically, because that's primarily who we are talking to, how can we give support, pray? We fully, Amy and I, we love Teen Challenge. We fully support. Are there maybe other ways that we can partner with Teen Challenge, our church?
Sure. I mean, just the mention of us. You know, we really want to have a good footprint.
Yeah.
To pray for us.
Okay.
Because sometimes it gets really tough, you know, and the longer you're in the ministry, I mean, I don't know about you, but when you see someone in need, you want to help them right then and now. Pick them up, let's go, you know. And it's not, you know, there's a process to it. So let's just pray for us to continue to move forward.
Okay.
Increase our faith.
Yeah.
And if you can help. Don't be afraid.
Yeah,
please
for sure.
come help us.
and if someone's in need, can you give us that number and then maybe a website where we can reach Teen Challenge?
It is area code 661-888-4249.
Okay.
And our website is teenchallenge.org/Antelope Valley.
Okay. And so if you or maybe a loved one you know needs really specific help, and really it's not forced, but it's focused, and it's this thought where we're going to get away out of our routine. And I can tell you, and I was with them earlier this year, that the focus is on Jesus, and that's what I love about Teen Challenge. But they're serious about helping broken people find healing and hope through Jesus. And so we're so grateful for you, Eric. Thank you for being with us. We love partnering. Teen Challenge is one of our core, we call it core 4 of partnerships that we have as a church. And we both financially, volunteer-wise, making room for you to be with us in our services. We've appreciated you doing that. Yep. We're all in on Teen Challenge. We love what God's doing. And so thank you for being with us. And we can't wait to continue to see how God funds and supports what's going on at Teen Challenge. Yep. Thanks again for being with us.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Well, that's another episode of the Highlands podcast. Thank you to Eric being with us from Teen Challenge. We're so grateful for what God's doing and restoring broken people and giving them hope. And so we're grateful for that. If you know anybody that needs help, reach out to Teen Challenge through them. They'd love to connect with you and your loved one. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Highlands podcast. We can't wait. We have one more episode. We're going to be featuring Ken Kraft from Hope the Mission. We can't wait to have a conversation with him about how we can serve the homeless. And we'll see you next time on the Highlands podcast. Have a great, great week.